Today, we'll be answering the question, what is a risk assessment matrix? So let's get into it. This is Audit Board Essentials. So what is a risk assessment matrix? A risk assessment matrix is a visual tool that depicts potential risks affecting a business. It's often based on two intersecting factors: the likelihood the risk event will occur and the potential impact the risk event will have. Depending on the likelihood and impact, risk can be categorized in buckets, such as high, medium, or low, to help companies prioritize risks, understand where mitigation strategies need to be implemented to reduce risk, as well as identify where there are opportunities to take on more risks. Let's take the risks related to the COVID-19 pandemic as an example. Supply chain disruption might be classified as a highly likely risk due to the availability of raw materials and delays in shipment. This risk could also have a high impact for a company that needs raw materials to create products to sell or has a need to hold a lot of inventory in stock. In a risk assessment matrix, you would see this risk represented in a chart that's color-coded by severity: high risk in red, moderate risk in yellow, and low risk in green, depending on a combination of how likely these risks are to occur and the impact they'll have on the organization if they do. Now, depending on the business and its risk appetite, an insignificant impact may cause a small amount of change, such as a loss of less than $1,000, while a catastrophic impact might create losses of $1 million or more. This is why, now more than ever, companies must meet the challenges of the present and the future with risk-informed decision-making. Creating a risk assessment matrix to summarize results for easy analysis, though, doesn't have to be a complicated process. Let's review how to create a risk assessment matrix in 4 easy steps. Step 1, identifying the risk landscape. To begin, hold brainstorming sessions with key stakeholders across your organization so you can mine insights and start generating a list of potential risks that will serve as the foundation of your risk assessment matrix. Since risk analysis is subjective, it's vital to get a wide variety of stakeholder input. Doing so will minimize the chances of overlooking a key risk that could prevent the business from meeting its objectives. Step 2, determining the risk criteria. After brainstorming risks that are applicable to your environment, determine the criteria by which you'll evaluate these risks. As mentioned earlier, risk assessment matrices typically use 2 intersecting criteria: likelihood, the level of probability the risk will occur, and impact, the level of severity the risk will have if the risk is realized. Now, it's critical to achieve consensus on the risk criteria, as this will affect not only the way you calculate your risk matrix, but also the discussions you'll have on how to mitigate your risks. In other words, standardization is key. You want everyone to be talking the same risk language and calculating risks in the same manner to be able to analyze your risk environment holistically and determine next steps. Step 3, assessing the risk. You'll want to assess the risk based on your risk criteria on a predefined scale. As mentioned earlier, most organizations use the following 3-part scale to assess severity: high, moderate or medium, and low. Step 4, prioritizing the risks. In this step, you'll finally plot the risks on a matrix to compare them based on the assessed risk level and criteria so that you can prioritize mitigating the risks that pose the highest likelihood and impact. You'll also look for risks that have low likelihood and impact as potential areas of opportunities or where the company can take on more risks to meet objectives faster. Effectively managing risk has always been critical for success in any business endeavor. An important part of your risk strategy should involve managing your company's risks by using integrated risk management software that facilitates collaboration, increases risk visibility across the enterprise, and uses automation to streamline processes like automatically creating risk assessment matrices based on assessment results for easy analysis. That's it for this episode of Audit Board Essentials. Be sure to subscribe and tune into our channel for future episodes where we'll be covering the nuts and bolts of a foundational knowledge of audit, risk, and compliance.